Hello YouTube, this is Hunter Search of the Brawler Cafe. This is going to be my first deck profile here on the channel. Since we have just covered everything when it comes to Aquos, we are going to be covering Mono Aquos. Now before we get into things, just want to clarify that, that there will be a bunch of proxies in here. I don't even have all of the correct cores because like getting specific correct, like multiple of the correct shield in particular is really annoying. Like shield availability, not fantastic. Card availability, not fantastic. And I have a lot of deck profiles that I want to go through to the point where, like, even if I started now and did one per week, I might not end up getting through all of them before the next set comes out. So I'm gonna start now. I'm gonna start now, proxies and all, so that we can try and get through them. Show you guys all the decks I have thought up. So with that said, we're going to get into things, starting with Bakugan. So, our first choice here is Hydra's Ultra. This is by far the weakest link of the deck. There's also our only Ultra here. And also this thing's a pain to close. Just gonna say that real quick. So it's 404. We'll be going into its Evo in a bit. I don't know why I'm putting that up there because I'm gonna have a scan like right here pop up on the screen so that you guys can read the card. But regardless, does bring double shield, which is very nice for the Pigtrix that we have. This Pigtrix, very nice for him. And his evolution does have a very relevant ability since we are an Aquos deck, but this is something that would, as soon as I get like another 500 B Bakugan with a decent Evo, as soon as one of those comes out, like the next set, this will get swapped out like immediately. But for now, kind of have to deal with it. It's not too terrible, but it's definitely the weakest link in the deck. The cores for it are, as I said, double shield. Both the shields that we're bringing, all the shields that we're bringing, by the way, I only have one of these right now, is the Aquos Ventus. Bring that one up since like won't have a scan of that, but Aquos Ventus plus 400. Now there is also Aquos Darkest plus 400, which you can use in the interim if you can't get 4 of these right away. The main thing that matters is that you're boosting Aquos, but I think you're probably better off boosting Ventus if your opponent lands on it than Darkest, because Darkest is already coming at you with very high base B powers, and you don't want to give them a boost there. Especially because like Mono Darkest is a real pain in the butt, and you really don't want to be giving them any bonus power to make it as easy as possible for you to beat them. Next up, we have good old Fangzor. This is the only thing that's not bringing shields on this team. So it brings a plus 250B, plus 3 damage, Flaming Fist. That's our Flaming Fist for this dude. So yeah, this is, in my opinion, the best Flaming Fist. You typically don't want to go for the ones that are pure damage because just the fact that you need to be able to win battles. So I tend to go with this one because this is the Flaming Fist that gives the biggest B power boost. You can also go with the plus 150B, plus 4 damage one, but this is my preference. Then for the fists, for the fist core, we bring plus 150B, plus 2 damage. Again, very similar principle. This is the highest B power boost you can get out of a normal fist. There's also a plus 150B, plus 1 damage, but that's obviously like directly inferior. You can also run the plus 100B and plus 100B and plus 3 damage to Aquos Ventus or Aquos Darkest. In that case, I would go with the Aquos Darkest one if you want to go with that, because Darkest doesn't have great damage, and you know, not a big deal. Not the biggest deal with that deck. So yeah. And here he is. Sneaky boy. I don't know how people have that much trouble opening him. I open him very consistently in all my tests. And then we have the powerhouse of the deck, Pegatrix. So Pegatrix brings double shield. Again, it is the same Aquos Ventus plus 400. And when he has a 500 shoe baseline. And when he is on a shield core, he gets an additional plus 100 and then plus 3 damage. So he's going to be hitting for 5 damage, plus the bonus from our shields will be putting him all the way to 1000 B power. Effectively, when we're landing on what we want to, and we have again 4 shields, so fairly easy, especially if we clump them together, to get that effectively 600B base and 1000B with the core bonus. So you know, quite good, and his evolution is very good as well. So yeah, that is our lineup for the Bakugan. So we're just going to put them up here while we move into the deck. Alright, now first up we have a Greater Water Boost at 3. Greater Water Boost is very important, 0 cost, so helps enable our flow stuff really easily. Gives plus 100B, that can matter sometimes, but we really just care mostly about the fact that it's a 0 cost action. It makes it really easy to do our flow stuff. Then we have Flooding Waters at 3 again. This is a 1 cost, gives plus 600B to a Bakugan on our team. Since we're running 3 Aquos, this is the reason to run mono Aquos. Extremely powerful card. Then we have also 1 cost, Tides. This is plus 200B, and if we've played another card that turn, it's plus 400B. So lots of low cost, high B power bonus cards that allow us to win battles fairly easily. Then we have Inspire. This is mainly just a flow enabler. It's 1 cost, plus 1 damage, and then we draw a card. So we're getting, so basically on turn 2 we can do stuff like play this down, then it replaces itself in our hand, and then we Tides. Or if we need to dig for something specific, especially if we've already won the battle, we play it down, boost our damage by 1, and then we get another card to hand to dig for what we want. Overall, pretty good card, not the card I'm most attached to. I would probably take this out, maybe in the future, for better stuff, but for now, it is a solid card that helps us get what we want. Yeah, I've said that like 3 times already. I think you get it. We don't have any 2 cost actions, but moving on to 3 costs, we have Wave Slash. Wave Slash is extremely powerful. 3 costs plus 300B, and then if we play another card that turn, you get plus 1000B instead. So most turns that you're playing this down, unless this gets like negated, you're probably going to be winning that round. It's an extremely powerful play. Can really help you get your team attack through, can really help make up for the deficiencies of Hydros Ultra, and get off its Evo Victor ability, which can be very, very potent. But regardless, moving on. Turbo Blast Cannon, 3 cost, negate an opponent's action. If our opponent drops a Wave Slash or a Light Scourge or any other just powerful effect, we can just drop that on them and stop them in the tracks. Deep Illusion, since we are mono Aquos, we don't have any of the hero destroying or send to energy or whatever cards. So the best we have is this 3 cost, negate a hero. Just basically doing what we can to deal with heroes. We don't want to be dealing with something like Kuzo or Magnus or whatever. So it's nice to have just 2 of this around to help us deal with some of the more problematic heroes that we might run into. Absorb! This is a 4 cost negate, like Turbo Blast Cannon. We're only running 2 because we don't want to clog on it. It negates an action, and then its effect copies the opponent's action, and you make your own selections for it. So yeah, this is a very, very powerful card. Extreme blowout, like play it on one of your opponent's like 3 cost or higher cards, and it'll probably be like just a guaranteed blowout. Play it on a wax, and your opponent will cry. Also a really funny interaction. Play it on one of those cards that return itself in hand, and I believe Absorb will copy the selections. I'm not sure, actually I'm not sure how that works. Fantasy, if you watch this, I'll probably just message him on Discord asking about that. But regardless, moving on from there. Regardless, very powerful card, even if it can't return itself to hand when you negate something that returns itself to hand. Regardless, Strata, extremely powerful card. This gives us consistent draw power. We drop it on turn 2, ideally, and this allows us to continue to see cards. It allows us to continue to make flow online, see our evos, yada yada. Just helps us make plays. Everett Ray, very, very good card. It starts at 6 cost, but it reduces by 2 for each card we played that turn. We have a lot of low cost stuff here, as you can see, like lots of low cost stuff. So the aim is basically to get it down to 0, play it down for free, and now we have just a plus 200B buff on all of our stuff for the rest of the game, and that is a really big deal. Just having that for the rest of the game from that point is just so potent and is really difficult to deal with. Moving on to Evos. 3 Hyper Fangzor, 4 cost, 1000 beat power, and 3 damage. So we get our plus 400B boost. But most importantly, you draw 3 cards, so it's really good at replenishing your hand, getting yourself going. As I mentioned before, this is our big powerhouse of the deck, 4 cost Hyper Pegatrix. So it goes up to 900B and 3 damage, which isn't that much of a boost. But then, when he's on a shield, he gets plus 400B and plus 8 damage. So it's a massive 11 damage. This is, until we get to this, our damage across the board is pretty low. But Pegatrix, once we get there, gets us some big damage to help us close out games. Then we have, for the last one, we have 3 Hyper Hydorus Ultra. Maximus is not worth running because, as you can see, there's like nothing that costs more than 4 here. The only thing is Everett, right? And as long as we've played a single card that turn, it costs 4 costs or less. So Hyper Hydorus Ultra is 705. Not fantastic beat power, but we can make up for that, as I've mentioned, with really big power plays like Flooding Waters and Wave Slash and Absorb. And when it wins a battle, we can play down an Aquos card for free. So we can play down, generally what we're going to be doing with that is we'll play down a Hyper Fangzor or Hyper Pegatrix or an Everett Ray or a Strata. So we have 12 targets that we want to be using that ability on. And worst case, we can use it on Inspired to draw us a card. So 15 good targets. And then just because we kind of have to not die to aggro, we have 3 counter outsiders. So this is the only deck in the game that I would play an outsiders flip in. We really only need 3 flips to be able to deal with the aggro decks. Basically just 3 cost stop non-Aquos. We really don't want to be running more than that, since like the only other options would be like Brain Geyser, and that's really bad. Like, we're going to draw out of our deck and it's not going to actually save us from any aggro shenanigans. Other than aggro, stuff like that, where you're going to need this to, because you're not going to be able to stave off stuff like Hyper Sorpites Ultra forever, and you're going to need to take a big hit from them at some point. And just having a couple flips there to not just die to that is pretty important. But otherwise, when you're fighting like a mid-range or a control deck, and even most of the time against aggro decks, you're not really going to need it because you have such powerful plays as Flooding Waters and Wave Slash and stuff like that, and it's really easy to just win battles. But you know, eventually you're going to have to roll Hydorus Ultra, and that's when they're going to get you. So yeah, this is Mono Aquos, one of only 2 mono decks that are really viable in the game. Other than this and Mono Darkus, I feel that you really need to be playing 3 factions. Like, there's no reason to play only 2 factions. When I'm saying 3 factions, I'm including Aurelis as a separate faction there. What I mean by that is, like, unless you're taking full advantage of something like Flooding Waters, or in Darkus' case, Rite of Darkus, you really have no reason to be putting redundancy on your team by running 2 of the same faction. If you were going to do that, like, that's what you should be putting in Aurelis for. So regardless, this is the deck profile. Hope you guys enjoyed, and this is going to be Hunter Surge signing off.